All right, back in an M3. I'm sort of a little disappointed in that I didn't get a chance to drive the Tony's M4. So I had Tyler come up here, and now I'm going to drive a DCT. And so what we're going to talk about in today's video is what I believe to be, at least in my opinion, the car guy natural progression, right? The progression from some sort of Japanese variant, right? I guess it could be German as well. So you do the GTI to M3 to Porsche, or maybe you do the WRX to M3 to Porsche, or maybe you do in my case was the Honda S2000 or Civic or RSX to M3 to Porsche. And so we're going to talk about I guess in our world, the last two steps of the progression, right? And then from there, and this weekend I sort of learned that I don't know that I have a progression beyond that, other than just keeping
beyond the RS.
Yeah, keeping with whatever the new version of the RS is, so, or GT3. And there's not. You've been in my GT3. There's not like it's not like life-changingly different between a GT3 and an RS. And in fact, it's on the street. It's more presence than anything, right? So, what was your progression?
I went Mazda, Infinity,
okay,
and then M3.
So it's still Japanese, right? Right, Japanese to German progression, right? All right, so let's see if I can remember how to do this. So your M1 setting is
Sport, and then M2 is the Sport Plus.
Okay, so you got Sport throttle, Comfort suspension, Sport steering, and then your M2 setting is Sport Plus across the board. So I've never had a DCT. This is going to be another comparison we'll talk about in DCT versus the double clutch PKS. Mine was the 6-speed manual. So I think if you shift with this, it's backwards from Porsche. I think down is up and up is down. Oh, no, it is the same. Yeah, it is. I just don't want to. I don't want to miss-shift it. All right. So how the heck do I even put this in drive? I go over. Right?
Yep. And then reverses all the way up, left and up, and then there's no park. You just turn the car off and pull the brake.
I don't know if I've ever driven a DCT M3. I don't think I have. All right, so this is 2018 competition package. So competition package includes the slightly lowered suspension, right?
Yep.
So now I go into drive.
Throw to your exhaust, the seats.
Yeah. So if I'm in M2, I'm in Sport Plus all across the board. Car should be relatively warm. You just got here.
Yep.
Shoot, I'm in auto mode. How the heck do I get out of that?
There you go. Now you're in second gear.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, auto's junk. We don't want that. But the autos in these cars are much more realistic than the auto in like the GT3. I put it in auto for 10 seconds. I was trying to drink some water on the way back from the gym, and the freaking thing was in 7th gear going 30 miles an hour. It's all bogging. Yeah, it feels very familiar. Now, of course, mine was highly modified, which I'd gotten it to the point where I was going to demodify it quite a bit, because I did that crazy JRZ suspension, and then I wanted to go and go back to some variant of like a, either KW sleeves or something like that. You haven't lowered yours. This is stock, right?
This is stock, yeah. And you did the Stage 2, right?
Yeah, the JRZ RS Pro 2 or whatever, with camber plates and all that. Yeah, it was, and I did every gosh darn fall line suspension brace possible. And,
what are your thoughts on that?
It's too much.
Yeah.
I think a good old-fashioned Dynon sleeve kit is good enough, or maybe some KW variant. First thing notice the steering wheel, and it's in my opinion, and I felt a lot of steering wheels. I think this is the best steering wheel on the planet. Steel brakes, right?
Steel brakes.
Yeah, I feel right at home. These things pull like a a gosh darn freight train. And you know, that's one of the beauties of, you know, this car and the motor. I mean, of course, BMW sold their soul. You know, I've been very candid with that. I mean, I think at least I'm giving myself permission to be critical because I'm a BMW fanboy, right? I'm like, if you knew, like, I'm like the biggest BMW fanboy. You know, maybe not as douchey as some of them, but I'm a realist too, and you know that this car is great, but you know, there is some selling of the soul that BMW did to make this thing as fast as it is, because for years and years and years we've always apologized for the fact that, you know, BMW is better and feels better and a better driving experience, but it was slow as molasses in comparison to some of its competitors. You know, now this thing decimates all. You do a tune and stuff, and my gosh, you're destroying everything in this category. This does sound better, though. You're right. Sounds better than the, you know, than the non-competition package. And these seats, I love these seats, love man. Seats. These seats are fantastic. It's amazing, these tiny, tiny, tiny little tires they put on this thing, but yet the car is still so compliant.
So grippy.
Yeah. Have you nicked the wheels at all any because of those tiny little tires?
I haven't yet, but knock on wood.
Yeah.
Parking like 2 feet from every curve I see.
So, I mean, I think that this, you know, the shift speed, the DCT, and how quickly it up and down shifts is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that the M5 went to whatever you call it, the torque converted automatic, is really disappointing. Although they say it's laser fast. Yeah, this does sound a lot but different. You know, I've been in the competition package, but I haven't. Where's the burbles?
They're there. Lower gears.
So how do I get it to burble? If I go, I just can't hear them through the fake sounds. Okay, there's the fart.
There's it. Yeah.
Or did you tune out the fart? Are you doing something? You doing some tricks on me here
to
to make me fall in love with the M3 again? This is a great daily driving / fun car, though, man. I mean, there's nothing else like this. I was just bored to tears. Sorry for to all the M3 lovers, but I still think this is the best looking car on maybe ever. You know, I just love the way these things look.
I do too.
I'd like it with 19s and a little more meat than the 20s that they put the competition package, but I was talking to Jared. I haven't released this video yet, but I don't know, one of my pet peeves is like you watch YouTubers and they're doing a paddle shift and they go as they're approaching red line, just hold your hands here.
Yeah,
I hope I'm not doing it, but as you get to red line, just freaking hit the thing, right? It's like, or like guys that are shifting real hard.
I do love how fast it seems to want to switch gears.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's double clutch, right?
Yeah.
And, in general, it's not as fast as the Porsche, but it's who cares? I mean, I'm in fifth, down to fourth, instant, within a millisecond.
Yeah. The Porsche's faster?
Oh yeah, you'll see. Yeah. So even let's do a little higher RPM upshift or downshift to third. There's a beat, not a beat, but a fraction of a beat.
Yeah.
The Porsche is just bang.
Yeah, it's off.
But it's negligible. See the beauty of this car, and you'll notice in a minute, that although the Porsche is comfortable, I mean, we could throw it, we could go back into comfort drive, modes and just cruise.
Yeah.
versus this, you know, being versus the Porsche. I mean, you're always on.
Yeah.
You know, the GT3.
Eco's a little sluggish, but I'll drive in sport pretty much all day.
Yeah, yeah.
All day.
Eco's for babies.
Yeah.
It's like driving with your valves closed. Come on. Although there's a common misconception in the Porsche in the GT3, in the Carrera S, you close the valves close unless you're really on it, and then they'll open. But on a GT3, the valves are only closed when you're at idle, when you're sitting. So you can open and close them when you're at idle, but they still transition and open the same as you're driving. You know, they're closed up to about 35, 36, 3700 RPMs, and then they open.
Gotcha.
And so the operation is the same whether you have the button pushed or not.
Yeah.
It's just when you come to a stop, you can open and close them. So common misconceptions, people say, "Why open the valves?" Well, that's only when you're sitting at a stoplight.
Yeah.
You know, otherwise they operate identically, which is weird. I love the fact that on my Carrera S, now I've played with this quite a bit, if the valves are open, it drones crazy on the GT3, just the way the cylinders fire, the motor's set up. But on the Carrera S, it's just different. Like the valve transition isn't necessary in that version of the 981 motor. And so I played with that ad nauseum with 13 different exhaust variants. I guess I've had 14 now because I have the done in center section. But yeah, this feels like I never left, you know. So why do you pick DCT? Because where you live?
Yeah.
Live in the city, it's just easier.
Yeah, I'm on brick roads, you know, half the day going 20 miles an hour.
Yeah. So just like any other semi, automated manual variant, we're going to swing this around here and go back. I guess we should turn around. It'll come to first gear on its own, right? It'll work its way down to first.
Yeah.
But does this do the MDCT doesn't do any intrusion, right? It won't downshift for you, like it won't upshift for you. Everything
Once
when
you
you're
get to
in
the
manual,
limits, I think it does.
Okay.
Yeah, it'll come down for you.
So it won't let you money shift it.
Mm-hmm.
So the GT3 will let you money shift that sucker. But this also, pulling the paddle doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
Pulling both.
Well, yours goes into neutral, right?
Yeah. That would be super cool if they, BMW instituted that.
I don't know why they wouldn't.
Well, the main is when you're in a tunnel, you want to rev it or something like that.
Yeah.
Let's see that one major, difference with being the motor out back. I mean, this you're always having to manage all that torque, and the rubber bands that they put around these 20s. You can see the traction control light on all the time, right? Whereas on the GT3, that rarely happens. But this, this turbo variant, if they could just fix the darn sound. I know many, you probably yourself included, really don't mind the way it sounds or like it. Obviously, BMW likes it. This motor is just, the way it delivers power is pretty incredible.
Yes.
It pulls. It doesn't fall on its face like other, other turbo cars. Many turbo cars. This sucker, if the sound didn't sound different, you wouldn't know it was a turbo.
Yeah.
I think. Now, when you start to modify them, like mine was modified, you could feel a little bit more of that, the little bit of lag, a little bit of surge of torque, and it would flatten off. But stock, they do such a good job of managing that.
Do you feel the horsepower difference between yours? And because I think it says like 19 more.
No, first of all, it's been a couple of years,
Yeah.
and mine wasn't stock for very long. So,
Okay.
brakes are legit on this. Even, the steel brakes are plenty adequate. I had the carbon ceramics mainly for cleanliness.
Yeah, for dust. Let's do dust like crazy.
Yeah. And then these wheels are hard to clean. There's lots of lots of little cracks. Oh, that was a cop. We don't have a good track record with cops. Last time you were up here, I was doing about $110 coming up over one of these little berms, and cop right there,
right in front of us.
Never racked the brakes so hard in my life.
And he just kept on going. He was oblivious. You could hear us from a mile away. Yeah.
We can only hope he was going fast, and was far away. How does the DCT launch control work?
I haven't done it yet, to be honest with you.
Do you know how to do it? How the heck do you do it?
Yeah, I watched a video. So I think what you do is you get it to a stop. I think you hold both of the paddles, and then it gets you in an RPM range.
Does it give you you pull both?
I think it goes to like 2,000 or 3,000 RPMs. You gotta hold the brake while doing it, and then so brake, gas, pull the things, and then I think you go.
All right. Well, I will save it for you.
Yeah. This thing's hard enough to keep on the road. I haven't tried the launch control yet.
I'll do it. I'll break it in if you want.
If you want to.
I don't want to mess you up.
Probably trust you more than me anyway.
All right. So I'm going to pull both. I'm going to come to a stop. Pull both paddles. It won't say LC or anything on the stock, will it?
And I think, to be honest, I don't know. I think you got to turn off the traction control too. It's a lot of steps.
Yeah, shoot. I'll show you the GT3. Just freaking mash the thing. The only trick is keeping, my whole tagline and all the stuff is you got to keep your foot in it, because when it pulls you back, if you let off the gas, it'll disengage. I thought it was broken for the longest time. Spot. Guess we're not doing it. This is my spot right here. I changed my mind. You'll see me say I think I like the S4 more. The new S4. The new S4 is a completely different car, but yeah, this is way better. Jared was right. This is much better than the S4. The steering feels better, the turn-in's better, the balance is better. Obviously, you're not dealing with the, with the torque steer, the all-wheel drive understeer that you get from that car. It's just such a great driving experience.
It really is.
It's just, the big rub with me is just the emotion I get from the sound of the engine. This car to me is great, especially for what you're doing. Living in the city gives you kind of the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
But the little bit of lack of emotion, the sound, is what it served its place in my car guy progression.
Yeah.
And then once so without a Porsche, this is a great, this is the ultimate option. But without a, GT3 in your life, then you're great. You're good to go. But having this in a GT3 just didn't work for me.
Did you see yourself going M5 GT3?
Well, I did, but then they put a freaking automatic in the thing, so I'll have to get behind the wheel of it. And that's disappointing because it's a fart machine too, so. And once you go, see, I would want to modify this exhaust, but once you get rid of the stock, actually, I think the stock sounds better than like Tony's aftermarket, because the aftermarket amplifies all the stuff that that bothers me.
Yeah.
But, the M5 would probably, now it's a twin turbo V8, but, they're inducing all that weird crap. It drives me nuts. And I know I'm nitpicking, but that's kind of my thing, right? Yeah, but car's so balanced, and the interior is such a nice place to be. These seats are great. It's right on the edge of, like the GT350 was so annoying. The thing just dug into my legs. Unless you're a tiny human, it was as chubby as I've been, my legs aren't any different in size, chubby or skinny. So you know, it wouldn't have mattered.
They're snug on the sides though.
Yeah, but it's good. It's just the right. So I guess that means if you're super skinny or smaller, then they're probably too small. Yeah, but in all these cars, it's funny, all these cars that I've gotten in the last couple of, you know, in the mountains, this feels the most natural to me. Probably because I had one, but it's just the, you know, it's the easy, I think it's one of the best driving positions, you know, height-wise, distance-wise, steering wheel's fantastic, just
kind of like an all-around.
This is a better driving experience than all those other cars. The Corvette, the Corvettes, the ZL1, which I kept calling the ZR1, 1LE, freaking stupid Chevy names. I don't know why. Why do I get all bent out of shape? You know, we call it F80 M3, and it doesn't bother me. But when you call it, you know, when you call it ZL1, 1LE, it just sounds stupid to me. It is pretty abrupt there in sport, you know, in the Sport Plus mode.
Yeah.
It's like our 3 turns in Central Florida that we get to go around. Just wait, though. Wait till we get in the GT3.
I know. I can't even imagine.
It'll change your life. As great as this is,
tires twice the thickness.
And imagine if you had someone who knew how to drive, you know. So I just.
There you hear it in the.
There's the burble story. Yay! You know, my Carrera S had that, and I wanted to. I tried to figure out how am I going to tune that out.
Yeah.
You know, how am I going to get rid of that?
Were you able to do it?
No. I think you could probably. I'm sure you can tune it out now, but I want to start make a pact with my neighbors to have a chance to come into my neighborhood and just rip into it. So that's, you know, F80 M3. You guys have seen me driving this quite a bit. It's always good to get back in one. I wish I'd gotten one in the mountains. Again, I don't think I'll ever own one again. I'm one of this variant, but I'm sure the next what's the new one going to be? The F90 or something like that?
The G80, I think.
Okay. I'm sure I'll be following it intensely, and we'll see if I end up with one. So let's go saddle up. Let's get the RS out and do the same little out and back. How the heck do I stop this thing? Gotcha. Okay. What happens when the force pulls you back, your foot naturally comes off the gas. You have to keep your foot to the floor, foot to the floor.